This video will show you how to create tests and quizzes in Project Share courses. To create a test and quiz in Project Share courses, you'll go to the left menu option and click on Test and Quizzes. Once you are in your test and quizzes, you are going to choose to either add a new test or import a test. If you import a test, what that means is that you are going to be pulling in a test that has been created by someone else or by yourself in another course. So you would choose who you wanted to be the author of the test that you are searching for. You also have a couple of different ways that you could search for that test. People have the option to share tests with certain other individuals in Epsilon. So if that was the case, then you would choose the Shared With Me option. If you wanted to look through only Sci-Fair things, you would choose the My Institutions option. And if you want to search all of Epsilon, you would choose the All Epsilon option. Okay? You would then put in the keyword to search for the specific test that you're looking for and click on Search. Once you did that, your test would show up and you would be able to import a test right in there. We are going to start fresh and we're going to start with a new test. So we're going to click on Add New Test. This is just the description of the different steps we're going to go through as we walk through the wizard. So I'm going to click on Continue. The first thing you need to do is give your test a name. Okay, so mine is just a random trivia fact that we're going to be using. So I typed in the title. You do not have to put a description, but if you wanted to, you could, to describe a little bit more about the test. Same with keywords. Keywords give an easy way for people to search for your test. This is really useful if you are going to be sharing or if you want to offer up your test for others to import and use. You would want to use keywords so it would be easy for them to find. Once you set up your test details, we're going to click on Continue. And now you're brought to the screen that's going to allow you to add your questions. Again, you have a couple of options. The first one is to add a question pool. What that means is that you're going to create a pool of questions and then the system will pool only certain ones to create the test. So for example, let's click on Add a Question Pool. I'm going to name this question pool Trivia Questions. Okay, show each test taker. I choose how many questions I want them to see. So I would say 3 questions, and then I decide how much each question is worth. So I'm just going to say 2. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm actually creating the question pool. Okay, so not everyone is going to see the same questions when you do it as a question pool. It's going to randomly pull 3 questions out of your entire pool of questions to give to each person. It's a nice tool because everyone in the class will have a different question, so they're not all going to be looking at the same questions. But if you want to make sure that you hit certain indicators and make sure that everybody knows certain things about, each question. If you have certain questions that need to be answered, then the question pool probably is not the best choice. Okay, but all you would do is click on Add New Question or Import a Question. And it's going to work in the same way that we're going to do next. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to make a question pool. Okay, I'm going to create a test where everybody sees the same questions. So I'm going to click on Add New Question. Okay, when I click on that, I'm brought to the Question Manager screen. And you can see here I have a choice of what kind of questions I want to create. So I'm going to start with a multiple choice question. Okay, and this is just your regular text editing box that you've seen many times throughout Project Share. So I'm going to just type my question. Okay, so there's my question. I could come in and I could change the font or change the size, okay, even change the color if I wanted to, and then I'm just going to click on Next. So now you can see my question is showing up at the top, and now I have to choose my answer. So with multiple choice, you're going to put in your first answer, okay, and this is not the correct answer, so they would get 0 points. You can give feedback for each question, so if it is incorrect, it could have a question that says, I'm sorry, this is incorrect. You can also click on this little HTML button down here at the bottom, and that will give you this screen that allows you to add videos or maybe add a document. Okay, so if they got it wrong, you could give a good explanation as to why. Okay, so I'm just going to add this answer to the list, and you can see right there is one answer. Okay, so then I'm going to add my next answer. Okay, and this is the correct answer. So when they get it correct, they will get 2 points. I'm going to say, hooray, it is still on today. Okay, and I'm going to add it to the list. So now I have 2 answers, and notice it says that the 1 is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple more. Okay, not the correct answer, so I'm just going to click on Add Answer. And then the last one is that, again, not the correct answer. So now you can see I have my 4 different answer choices. At any time, I can edit my answer choices or I could delete them. Same with my question. By clicking on the pencil, I can always edit. So I'm going to scroll down and click on Save. Okay, so there is my first question. So now I'm going to add another question, okay, just by clicking on the Add Question. And this time I'm going to choose a fill in the blank. Okay, it says, please write this to represent the blank missing part of the question. Okay, so this is really neat because you can create kind of like closed sentences where you can leave the blank in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to say, okay, and here is where I want to have my blank. So I'm going to do $, blank, $. Okay, and then I'm going to click on Next. So notice that what it did in 1972, President Nixon made a historic visit to, and then they have to fill it in. So now I can say what the acceptable answers are. Well, there is only one acceptable answer, so I'm going to give that 2 points. And I'm just going to say, great job. If this was actually a true test, I may want to put in a little video, so I could click on that HTML and I could put in like a YouTube video maybe of something talking about that particular visit, or maybe a document about what that. Now we're going to take a look at what the test is going to look like for a student. So I am now logged in as Nellie Notebook, and she is a student in the course that we just created that test for. So I'm going to, as a student, scroll down to Test and Quizzes. And when I come in, you can see that that test that we just created is listed here. Okay, how much do you know? That was the description. I have 2 attempts remaining, and that's how many points it's worth. So in order for the student to take the quiz, they're going to click on Click to Start this test. Okay, and this is what the test is going to look like. So I'm going to click on it, and then notice that, remember, we set it up so that one question was on each page. So I'm just going to click on Submit. Whoops. Next. Sorry, good lesson. Next takes you to the next question. Submit is actually going to submit your entire quiz. So here's the question. Notice my blanks, and then down here is where we're going to put our answer. It's nice taking a quiz when you already know all the answers. Okay, so I'm going to, there are no more questions. You can see that because when I click, there's no way to click on Next, so I'm just going to click on Submit. It asks if I'm sure. I'm going to say OK. Now we're waiting while it goes through and takes a look at my answers. Visit was 4. So I could give them more information. So once I'm done, I'm going to just click on Save. And now I have 2 questions. So let's add one more. I'm going to add a question to the question pool. Oops, excuse me, I don't want to do that. I'm going to add a new question. And this one is going to be short answer. So in the box again, I'm going to put in my question. Okay, so there's my question. Okay, notice that it tells you up at the top exactly what you need to do. I'm going to click on Next. Okay, this is what my question's going to look like. And then all they have to do is they are going to fill in their answer and I can provide feedback. Okay, so I'm just going to click on 2 points and then we'll see what that question looks like. So I'm going to click on Save. Alright, so far I have 3 questions ready. Let's just show one more quick one, the true, false. Okay, and I'm going to say next. And basically this answer is true or false. So I'm going to say it's true. And then I'm going to save it. Whoops, I forgot to say 2 points. 2 points and save. Alright, so there's my quiz is done. I have set up 4 questions and I'm just going to click on the continue button. Okay, so now I'm ready to set up my quiz for it to be ready to take. So I choose when I want the test to start, okay, and when I want it to finish. So I'm going to give a little bit more time for them to take this quiz. Notice that I can set exactly what time I want the quiz to close. Okay, the next thing is attempts. How many attempts do I want to allow my students to have? So I could choose to let them have 2 attempts. Okay, and accept the last, the first, the lowest, or the average. I'm going to go with the average. Okay, I can set the length of time. I can also decide how I want the questions to show. Do I want them all on one page or do I want them on separate pages? I'm going to uncheck that and I'm going to let it show 1 question per page. Okay, the question order will be randomized. I'm also going to randomize the answer order. Okay, you need to think about that sometimes when you do like passages or certain questions that need to go in a certain order. That's probably not the best choice. Okay, you can decide when you want to show the feedback. Okay, I'm going to just say immediately for both of them. Okay, if you were giving a test where they might have another chance, okay, then you may not want to give feedback right away. You may want to wait. Okay. Now, you can also require a password to access this test if you chose to do that. So that way you would have to give the students the password in order to be able to get in. If you were aligning this test with a grade in the grade book here within Project Share, then you would create an assignment name right here. You would click Create New and create the assignment name. Okay, this is where if you wanted to share your quiz or test with other people, you would click on, after saving is complete, I would like to share this test with others. Okay, so I could click that and then I'll let you know what it looks like. So I'm going to click on Save as Complete. Okay, and now my test is ready to go. Okay, so as you can see, it's worth 8 points. They have 2 attempts and it is ready to go. Okay, so that is how you're going to create a quick test in Project Share. Okay, so now that my test has been submitted, you can see that now it says I have 1 out of 2 attempts. If I wanted to retake the quiz, then I could just click on the action button. Okay, so that is how a student is going to see the test and quizzes. When you are logged in as the instructor or owner of your course and you're looking at your test and quizzes, all of your tests that you have completed will be in the Test Editing Done section. As soon as any of your students take a test or quiz, that quiz can no longer be edited. So when you click on the pencil, it'll actually say this test has been taken and cannot be edited. You can click on it and it'll take you through the steps. But as soon as I went to edit a question, I'm going to get this error code that says at least one course member has completed the test. It cannot be edited or deleted. Okay, so just a word of caution when you are creating your tests and quizzes. Once somebody has actually taken it, you cannot go in and edit it. So make sure that you have checked your spelling and everything is good to go before you actually open it up for your students to take. And this is going to conclude the video on how to create tests and quizzes in Project Share courses. Hopefully it's enough to get you started creating some great quizzes for your students.